Good morning, traders. I'm Joel Conan, and welcome to Premarketinfo. Dennis, giving him a few days off here, a little R&R, but he'll be back with us on Monday. Taking a quick look at the market here, I guess we have kind of like a bear's dream here. Steep sell-off yesterday to 1544 in the S&Ps. Getting a nice bounce here in the pre-market. We've made a high of 1556.50. So let's keep a real close eye on that in order to continue our move back up to the 1560 level. 1556.50 is a big level. Keeping an eye on some mild support here at 1551. But as long as we stay above yesterday's low at 1544, it's still just a turnaround and go back north kind of market here. Looking at some stocks today. Jake on the news desk wanted me to talk about Carnival Cruise Lines. I mean, here's a stock that just can't get out of the way of itself. Been having some bad news. I guess the news from yesterday is somehow a ship left the dock with a hole in it, was out stranded. I mean, I have never followed a stock that has had so much bad news on it, and it continues to go lower. Trading at just a little bit, 1.13 over book value. So you got to figure there's some bottom fishers out there in the stock. But you got to beware of the levels that we hit yesterday. We hit a low of 33.11. We are trading below that in the pre-market. Take a quick look at the pre-market activity. Been even lower. We did hit 32.76. That's a double bottom. So if you're trying to get active in this stock, keep an eye on 32.76. If you're trying to back on strength here, you at least got to see it get above the close here, and the close is way up at 33.63. So nothing but bad news for Carnival Cruise Lines. To look at a stock in the same sector, which you got to be aware if you're trading these stocks, Royal Caribbean is also getting hit. That stock does have some major support back in at the end of March. We traded at 31.72 to 31.84. This double bottom here. So if you're trying to get active in these stocks, you're buying at the 32 level. You may be prepared to take some heat from 31.72 to 31.84. And as I look at it here, it's a triple bottom. So guys, be careful in those stocks. Moving on to an old favorite here, Facebook. Getting a lift here. Some positive comments by OTR Global. Trading up smartly here in the pre-market. Let's go to the pre-market chart. Just making a recent high here at 26.70. But I'd like to alert our traders to some daily levels that we have in that stock. You had a high going back on the March 20th at 26.69. Above that, you get up to the $26.90 level. If you guys are going to be a student of Dennis's two-day move here, you got a nice green arrow here, perhaps a two-day continuation move. If you're looking to buy it on weakness or a pullback, looking at the pre-market, we've been bouncing off 26.40 a few times. But if you're real cheap and you'd like to see it whack it down to the settlement of 26.25, that might present you with a lower risk entry point. One stock that finally got its due yesterday, Netflix. Let's first take a look at the daily chart. It was just hovering between 175 and 190. Popped up to 197 a few times. Held 180 for at least 6-7 trading sessions. And then I guess a few rumors leaked out that Mr. Icon was going to take some profits here. You know, he's got 100 points in the stock. I mean, I hope he's not getting too greedy here. That he was going to dump his shares. That came out, and that coincided with this major support level here at 180. Came crashing down through there. Blew through the 175 like it wasn't even there. Made a low at 162. 164.26 before getting a little bit of a bounce here. Perhaps if you're going to be patient at this and you want to wait for an entry point, Maybe if it can get back to these old lows here at the $175 level, you got to figure a lot of people would be itching to get out there, and also 180 would be major resistance. Coming back on the downside, you did have the low from yesterday, but you also have a low here at 162.78. But boy, I tell you, this thing just looks like it's itching to get down here to 140 and start to fill some of that ridiculous gap. So keep an eye on Netflix today. Looking at the number one stock here, Apple Computer, kind of getting a little bounce here, shrugged off the Apple downgrade from a few days ago. Looking at the intraday activity, we did spike over 535. We did get to 535.75. So if you are playing this long off the open, that could be a possible exit point. But the thing I wanted to look at here on the daily charts, after dipping down to 419, we had a little bit of a rally, and then we started to hug the 430 level. Made a few lows under that. And that was a springboard back up to 470. And now you came down again here under the 430 level. You got a couple lows under there, but then you had a tight range yesterday with a 430.31 low, and you're getting a little bit of a bounce. So still trying to be an Apple bull down here, but instead of risking down to that 419 low, if you're buying in this 430 area, I think you have to let things go if it gets through the low at 426.40. Moving on to some other stocks in the news. Bank of America downgrading Microsoft here. So that's the first mess symbol. Not too bad. Microsoft yesterday got close to that 29.0 level, 29.01, which was the high back from November 1st. And then kind of, caught wind on the south side with the rest of the market. And now Bank America comes out with a downgrade. They lower it to neutral. They raised their price target from 35 to 33. So, I mean, they still have a pretty decent price target on it. I don't know if they'll ever trade 33 again. Looking at the pre-market activity here, we did get a spike low under 28.30. We did get to 28.27, but looking at the dailies here, you do have some support here, a couple lows around the 28.26, 28.36 level. So before you throw the baby out with the bathwater here on your Microsoft long, see how it reacts here at the $28.30 level. Keeping along the theme with upgrades and downgrades here, LinkedIn is maintaining an overweight on the stock, raising the price target from 185 up to 210. Let's keep an eye on that stock here. Kind of in a scary area here. We did make a low yesterday at 165.01. Not a lot of support in this stock, down to 160. So even though Morgan's maintained the overweight on this, I don't like the real estate here between 170 and 160. Keeping an eye on the close, 167.31 should be a minor support level. Goldman Sachs here, talking about the food stocks. Starting out with a Detroit, well, not really a Detroit favorite, Ann Arbor, based in Ann Arbor, Michigan, Domino's Pizza. If you've been in this stock, you've been making a lot of dough lately. It's had a monster run. They take it off their conviction buy list, and they downgrade it to a buy. But they still raised the price target from 56 to 60. So kind of like a mixed bag here in the Domino's Pizza. Looking at major supports, it's sitting at, right now it's trading at 49.19. 49.19 was a low from yesterday. We're trading at 49 in the pre-market. You got a low at 49.01 on March 18th. You got another low at 48.94. So this 49 level is absolutely huge. Hey Jake, I can hear that keyboard noise there. If you could put it on mute for now. Okay, back to the show here. 49, major support here in Domino's Pizza. Moving on to the other food stocks that Goldman Sachs is taking a look at, we have EAT, Brinker International. What Goldman is doing in that stock is they're taking it from a neutral to a buy. They're raising the price target to 37 to 44. It's pretty good. It's already trading over 37 here. Stock is getting a nice pop in the pre-market here, currently trading at 38.43. These are real spotty trades here, folks, though. Only 600 shares. I wouldn't put a lot of credence on that. We did get up to 38.63. That was the high in the pre-market. Or excuse me, that was the high from yesterday. Getting away from me here on Brinker. Let's take a look at the daily. There we go. 38.63 has been the high of the move. Keep an eye on that. In order to find some further resistance in the stock, can't find anything on the weekly, can't find anything on the monthly. So 38.63 is our bogey in Brinker. Another stock that Goldman Sachs is upgrading from a neutral to a buy is Panera Bread. I had lunch there yesterday. It was pretty good. So I will keep that on my conviction eat list, and we will take a look at the pre-market activity here. Getting a nice bounce of 5 points on 2,000 shares. Just trading at the high here at 174.49. Taking a look at the dailies here, that's blowing away the recent high of the move, 173.22. So if you are playing this out of the gate from the short side here, you want to fill the gap, look for 173.22. Going out longer term on this stock here, basically trading at all-time highs. Speaking about Goldman Sachs, their stocks did a little dipsy doodle yesterday. Had really been maintaining this 145 level, shrugged off a downgrade from Bank of America earlier in the week. But with the SPOOs getting crushed yesterday, it had finally took out that 145 level. Trade is down as 142.18 and got a little bounce up to 143.41. So in my opinion, for this stock, in order for this stock to get some life back in it, it's going to start facing some major resistance here at 145, as all those people that successfully bought it at this level may be looking to pair their position. So we need to keep an eye on 145 in Goldman Sachs. Looking at the intraday activity in Goldman Sachs here, just got a little bit of a pop-up in the pre-market not too long ago to 144.30, so that's going to be your minor resistance point. And since we're talking about GS, we might as well talk about MS. Morgan Stanley had been hanging out around that $22 level just a little bit too long. When that got a downgrade from somebody earlier in the week, it did pierce the $22 level. As you can see from this gap area here between 21 and 22, you didn't find a lot of buyers. Yesterday, you sneaked under 21 to 20.96 and didn't get a big bounce off the close. What I'd like to alert our traders to is a gap that we've been talking about for quite some time here. I believe when they had, I think, a positive earnings announcement, 20.75 was the high on January 17th. So you still got another 21 cents to go here to fill the gap. But if you've been patient along those lines, then use that as an exit point for a short or an entry point for a long. That's the regular portion of our broadcast here, and I'll be back with you tomorrow.